Hello and welcome, my cards on fire. How you doing this fantastic day? It's Chris here, and today we're going to talk about the worst cards in Bloons TD Battles history. Well, what's going on here, man? Are these cards really that bad? Well, currently they're not very good, but that doesn't mean they can't get changed or buffed or maybe even nerfed in some weird way later on in the game. So pay attention. You might get these cards changed in a little bit, but for now, they are the worst cards in the game. So number 5, the Monkey Ace. So we're going to talk about them in two different ways. First of all, these are the worst card combos. So I do mean the Bloons Sends and the tower itself. We're combining them together. I also want to point out that this is not going to be, these are towers that are just going to completely be terrible and ruin your game and actually cause chaos and havoc and terribleness into the game. That's not really true, but they definitely aren't as good as a lot of the other cards in the game. So a 1/1 Monkey Ace, what does it do? Well, it can't aim very good. It just kind of pops some balloons in the game, and it's a fairly cheap tower at $1,500, but it's still not something you want to start off the game with and probably would not want to use in the middle of the game. Then on top of that, you've got Regrow Whites that you could send out with it, but it's spaced Regrow Whites. And it's kind of pricey, so at that price point, you probably don't want to send those guys out. They're probably not going to do anything, and overall, it's kind of a waste of money. Number 4, the Tack Shooter. So the first thing you're probably thinking is, Chris, this is a 0/0 Tack Shooter. It's supposed to be a piece of poop. It's literally a giant pink piece of poop. Well, yeah, it is, but that means you just shouldn't put it in your deck at all. Why would you even put it in the game? Why put this Tack Shooter? Why not put the Blade Shooter or something in the game? I don't know. But here you go. The 0/0 Tack Shooter is a cheap tower at a measly little $300, but it's just not something that I would ever actually want to use. I know it's cheap, and I know it's something that you might want to start the game off with, but when you have 15 cards and you might not get him to start off the game, it's just kind of a worthless tower. Anything beyond round 1 or maybe 2, even if you spam 2 or 3 or 4 of these guys, they're still not going to be worth it. And then on top of that, they made it even worse for us by giving us spaced blues. So my thing is, I hate spaced balloons. At the moment, I'm not a big spaced balloon fan. I don't like using them almost ever. I almost always send out group balloons because they send out fast, they give you economy, and they can hurt your opponent. So the 3 main things that I want to put in my cards and make sure that they can do it. But the Tack Shooter is just not one of them. So now we're going to move on to number 3! This is a helicopter, which I think they're going to end up buffing eventually, just because it's so darn bad. Check this guy out. He's trying to pop green balloons right now. Green balloons. This is a $4,000 tower, by the way. Think about this as like a 4-2 ninja, or maybe, a tooth, almost a cannon, almost a 4-2 cannon, almost the price of that guy, or a nuclear submarine. And he can barely pop green balloons. He's just that darn terrible. He does have some usefulness against Moabs. He can pop the Moab lair, and he can also do some other, random extra popping power against ceramics and stuff, because he can send them backwards. So in that essence, he is a decent tower once you get to the, mid-ish late game. But at the $4,000 price point, I'd much rather get something else for sure. For sure. And, honestly, his popping power is okay. He does a decent job of popping a lot of those weird balloons, but not those, regrow rainbows or zebras or anything that are actually going to be killing you in most of these situations. So, when you think about that, he also does send out a pretty decent rush, though. He sends out 7 grouped camo ceramics, but it's also a really pricey send, and if you don't end up killing the person with those camo ceramics, you're not going to be very happy. It's $4,000 to send those guys out, and if the rush fails, you're pretty much screwed. So I know it's a purple card, it's an epic card, it's supposed to be one of those really good cards, it's amazing, but I just can't see myself using it in almost any situation whatsoever. I probably talked about the helicopter for way too long, but it's just not something I would use. By the way, I am a little bit sick, so I don't know if you guys can tell that my throat and my voice is just a little bit weird. Hopefully you guys don't mind, but I'm trying to get a little bit better, but I want to make videos of this stuff. So we're going to move on to number 2, and that is the Super Monkey. So, why put the Super Monkey in the game? I don't know. I have no idea. It's a 0/0 Super Monkey, so it doesn't have any range. It's a fairly cheap tower. $3,500 is the normal price for a Super Monkey, but now they bumped it down to $3,000. So in that essence, it's okay, but why and when would you use that thing? Pretty much never. I don't think I could ever use that guy. And then on the side of that, you get some camo leads that you can come out and send against these guys, but they're just not worth it to get. In most situations, most people have popping power for that, so I just wouldn't recommend him at all. You're just going to lose with that stuff. And number 1, the Plasma Blast. So you're probably thinking, Chris, this is actually a pretty good tower over here. Plasma Blast is usually something you kind of want to get, right? Well, yeah, usually you want to get Plasma Blast because you're trying to get a Robo Monkey, and Robo Monkeys are a pretty good all-around tower. But The plasma is just not a good tower in here. He's $10,000, so it's really, really pricey. Keep in mind that you can get a Ground Zero at the moment for $10,000. So against these 3 BFBs, we're going to do pretty much nothing. On the other side of it, you can send out 10 Moabs, grouped Moabs, on round 19, but again, it's $10,000! How many people have $10,000 on round 19? Not that many people, and you know what? A lot of people can just Battle Energy or Ground Zero or something and just destroy it right off the bat. So it's just not worth it to get in most situations. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you press the like button. More videos to come in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a super duper delicious day.